The Honorable Prime Minister of India, Shri Narendra Modi ji, the Prime Minister of Israel, His Excellency Benjamin Netanyahu, the Secretary of State for Business, Energy and Industrial Strategy, Government of United Kingdom, His Excellency Mr. Alok Sharma, the Minister for Climate, Energy and Utilities, Denmark, His Excellency Dan Jorgensen, the Minister for Economic Affairs, Bhutan, His Excellency Leonpo Loknath Sharma, Honorable Ministers of Government of India, Chief Ministers of States and Lieutenant Governors of Union Territories, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. It is my privilege to welcome you to the inauguration of the third edition of RE Invest hosted by India. Over the past two editions, RE Invest India has emerged as one of the largest gatherings of policymakers, scientists, investors, entrepreneurs and industry leaders associated with renewable energy across the world. The latest technologies are displayed here and the best brains are gathered here to discuss and chart out the roadmap for the growth of renewable energy across the world. Excellencies, in the last 5 years, India under Prime Minister Modi has brought about a transformation in the field of energy, the likes of which has not been seen anywhere else in the world. We have transformed our country from an energy deficit to an energy surplus country. We have connected the whole country to one grid, operating on one frequency. It is now the largest integrated grid in the world. We carried out the largest expansion of access ever in any country in the world. We connected every village and every hamlet across the country. We connected 28 million households in 18 months. In no other country across the world has an expansion of access on such a scale taken place in such a time frame. We are now in the process of carrying out one of the fastest energy transitions in history. Our rate of growth of renewable energy capacity is one of the highest in the world. In our nationally determined contribution during COP21 in Paris, we had committed that our capacity for power generation from non-fossil fuel sources will reach 40% by the year 2030. I am happy to inform you that our installed capacity from non-fossil fuel sources has already reached 38.1%. And if we add the capacity under installation, it comes to 52%. By 2030, our established capacity from non-fossil fuel sources will reach 64%, a full 24% higher than our commitment. From 2014 to 2019, our solar energy capacity has multiplied 13 times. Bloomberg have ranked India #1 in the world in the volume of renewables auctioned from 2015 to 2019. A recent climate transparency report conducted by 14 institutions across the world noted that we are the only G20 country whose achievements are consistent with keeping the temperature increase at less than 2 degrees compared to pre-industrial averages. Our Prime Minister launched the International Solar Alliance on the sidelines of COP21, and it is now a rapidly growing treaty-based intergovernmental organization with 88 signatories. The rate of growth is unparalleled. In accordance with the vision of our Prime Minister, we are converting one city in every state into a totally green city. We are shifting our entire agriculture irrigation system to solar under a scheme called Kusum. We are launching feasibility studies for realizing the vision of one sun, one world, one grid, which was initiated by our Prime Minister while inaugurating the last conference of ministers, for connecting countries to take advantage of the fact that when the sun sets in one country, it rises in another. Again, inspired by our Prime Minister, we plan to set up a 10,000 megawatt solar energy capacity in Ladakh, one of the highest plateaus in the country with rarefied atmosphere and extreme cold climate, but which has solar insolation at levels higher than Rajasthan. What we propose to do is to electrify our economy, that is, shift sectors like transport and cooking to electricity, and we propose to green our electricity. We propose to use renewable energy to produce hydrogen and ammonia, and use green hydrogen for steel making and green ammonia for fertilizer production. Ladies and gentlemen, Our renewable energy capacity will continue to grow at a pace even faster than it is growing now. You are invited to join us and our partners and be our partners in this exciting endeavor. Thank you and a warm welcome to you all. I now request His Excellency Dan Jorgensen, the Minister for Climate, Energy and Utilities, Denmark, to address the gathering.
Your Excellencies, Honorable Prime Minister Modi and Minister Singh, thank you for inviting me to speak at the inaugural session of the Third Reinvestment Conference. It is truly a great honor. I wish we could have met in real life and not virtually via a screen like this. I would have loved to visit India and see the remarkable achievements you've made on the green transition. I hope that I will get the chance to visit another time in the near future. Meanwhile, I wish your families and your country all the best. While we are fighting a global pandemic, we also have to deal with climate change and the necessary and urgent green transition. It is not easy, but it is in difficult times we show our true character. Now more than ever, we need to keep up the good spirits, stand together, inspire each other, and learn from each other. We want to reach our common climate goals while still securing sustainable economies. Therefore, I also want to show my appreciation and support to your Honorable Prime Minister's statement at the recent G20 meeting on taking decisive action to preserve the planet. It is a great pleasure for me to show Denmark's support for India's commitment to renewable energy and to the international climate agenda. Renewable energy is key to reaching the goals set out in the Paris Agreement. India's ambition of 450 gigawatt renewable energy with 30 gigawatts coming from offshore wind in 2030 is admirable. Put things in perspective. If your offshore target is achieved, India will avoid CO2 emissions that corresponds to almost 1.5 times the annual collected CO2 emissions from Denmark's energy consumption. This shows you the magnitude of the ambitions. India's targets on renewable energy show a strong determination to become an international leader on sustainable development. It sends a strong signal to the industry and to the rest of the world that you are fully committed. I want to give a big thanks to the Indian government for a successful and growing cooperation, most recently underlined with the new Green Strategic Partnership as agreed by our Honorable Prime Ministers in September. The Green Strategic Partnership is a major step in the right direction to meet our common green ambitions and support UN's Sustainable Development Goals. With this partnership, we equally prioritize a closer cooperation on climate, green transition, and trade. I hope that this approach will serve as inspiration for others on tackling these matters. The Green Strategic Partnership makes very good sense, because even though Denmark might be very small compared to India, I will quote your Honorable Prime Minister Modi in saying, Denmark has the skills and India has the scale. And more importantly, now we need scope and speed. The Green Strategic Partnership builds on an already successful government-to-government cooperation on energy. The Indian-Danish energy collaboration has developed quickly since its beginning in 2018. The Danish experiences on offshore wind integration of renewables and electricity planning are already being utilized in India. The successful cooperation on wind energy has already contributed to the development of an Indian wind industry, and it has already created many jobs. I am very excited that the strong Indo-Danish cooperation has entered into a new chapter. This includes an upcoming Danish membership of the International Solar Alliance and strong cooperation on offshore wind and renewable